I could not believe it when I stumbled upon this dresser on Facebook Marketplace for only $20. It's sturdy, well built, and there's nothing wrong with it other than a few hardware pieces missing. It is a little outdated, and there are some minor scratches. It could also use a new base, so Avery got right to it, and now it's time for the real makeover. Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I am so excited about this piece. I can't believe it. Only $20 for this piece on Facebook Marketplace with nothing wrong with it. That is such a steal. The previous owner did mention that there were a few of the screws missing on the hardware pieces, and that's why she listed it so low, because she thought it was an inconvenience. But for me, who's going to be flipping this hardware is going to go anyways, and if I did want to keep it, screws are like 13 cents at the hardware store, so really I couldn't pass this piece up. I do want to get started on taking off this hardware. Usually that is the very first thing that I will do. I think this hardware is a little bit outdated. Some people still like it, I just don't, and I find that if I change it out to something a little bit more modern, it sells a lot faster and for a higher price, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with that. Now you're gonna have to excuse my little mess of things here. It's so weird how fast this stuff gets dirty because I literally just cleaned all of this, and then within one project it's back to tornado land. I'm looking for my screwdrivers though. I've got one right here. I've got one over here. I haven't looked yet to see what the screws look like, so I don't know what bit type thing I'm gonna need. But I got that. And I'm gonna grab this little mini one too, so I've got kind of a variety here, just so that I have whatever it is that I need. You could also use a drill. I just, for some reason, have been stuck on screwdrivers, but usually this older hardware is pretty loose and people never really take it off, so, or even like re-tighten it or anything, so we should be good with this. All right, let's see which one we're gonna need here. Nope. Ooh, that one could work. You always gotta trust in the little screwdriver. It's so easy. And plus, when the drawers are like really shallow, these come in handy so much. But anyways, here's a little bit of a closer look of this hardware. I don't know, they're not ugly, they just don't really fit into the hardware of like modern homes. Like, I always try to stick on trend with what people are putting in their kitchen cabinets, and they definitely aren't putting these on, so these have got to go. Uh-oh. Oh no. I don't know why this isn't coming out. That could be a problem though. Let's see. I'm gonna try to put this back in and see if maybe it just wasn't on the drawer slide. Yeah. I don't know what that was. It just wasn't on the drawer slide how it was supposed to be, but now it's sliding good, so it should be good. So while I was taking off the hardware, I found a brand name. It's branded one of the drawers here with American Drew, and then it says, "We promise, thank you for the purchase of Drew furniture, our tree of promise." American Drew has a whole thing, but anytime there's a stamp like this, that's always a good sign. That will go into what I end up listing this piece for. So I don't know a lot about this brand right now. I'm gonna have to do some research, but it's always a good sign. I didn't see this when I went to pick it up, so this is just kind of a happy surprise. So now that all this hardware is off, I'm going to start sanding. For the body of the dresser, because it's so heavy and it's just me here, I'm gonna scuff sand it by hand. And so I just have this scuff sanding pad. It's like a 200 grit, I believe. It's not too gritty, which is good for a scuff sand. But even though I am scuff sanding, I'm still gonna wear some protective equipment, which is my goggles here and my respirator. However, these drawers right here, they are light enough to where I can just pull them out, so I will use my sander for that with the same 200 grit. I don't have the strength to carry this dresser by myself, so I'm not going to. And hand sanding it will kick up a lot less dust while still roughening up the surface so that it is good for primer and paint. While you're here, if you could please give this video a thumbs up, it'll tell the YouTube algorithm that you really enjoyed this video and that it should be pushed out to more people. Also, subscribe if you aren't already yet. I am working towards a goal of getting my first 10,000 subscribers, which is a huge milestone. These two acts are simple and free and seriously help small channels like mine grow. Thank you guys so much for being here, and thank you so much for watching. Alright, so now that all of the sanding is done, I'm going to bring these back into the garage and I'm going to wipe them down so that there's none of that dust left over. And then we are going to start filling in these hardware holes so that by the time we are finished with this makeover, I can drill in new hardware holes for the new hardware. It's too hot for this. Now, I mentioned I wanted to fill in the hardware holes, and I'm going to do that with my Dry Deck spackling. This is really nice because it's super beginner friendly. It goes on pink just like this lid color, and then it dries white, so you really do know when to sand the excess off. I also think that it lasts longer than wood filler does. Wood filler dries out super fast and this stuff doesn't. It's also very smooth to the touch, not super grainy like wood filler, which I personally enjoy. And I'm just going to use my fingers, but I would not recommend doing that. In fact, they say not to do that. I just do it because the worst thing that happens to my fingers when I do that is they just feel really dry. But really, you should be using either a glove or like a putty knife. I'm just not gonna do that, so oh well. It's now the next day and all of this wood filler is now dry on the hardware holes, so I'm gonna get this outside of the garage and get this sanded down. Alright, so before we get too far into this makeover, I want to figure out which color I want to paint this piece. Now, I've narrowed it down to 2 colors. Both are very different, but I think they would look really good on this piece specifically, especially with the hardware that I have in mind. I just don't know if I want to go more dark and moody or more light and airy. This one is kind of like a forest dark green color. This color I've actually used before. It's like an oatmeal cream color. I haven't used it for like half a year, so I am kind of excited to use this one again. So I do really want to use this one again, but I just picked this color up at the store, and green is actually like my favorite color. So this is really hard to compete with, but I just don't know which one is going to look the best on this piece. And as always, my main goal is to sell it for the most amount of money that I can get for it. I think I'm gonna go to my Instagram and see what my followers think and see which one they like best. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, make sure you follow me there for all of the behind the scenes. It's just Heather Lewis with 2 S's at the end. Alright, you guys, so as you guys know, I'm currently working on this dresser right here. Alright, so it's been a little bit, so I'm gonna check the poll and see what people are thinking. Dang, okay. So, I haven't had this up for more than an hour, but most people are voting cream. So I guess we're gonna do the cream color, which makes sense because neutrals sell fast, but then again, greens are actually really popular and trendy right now, so I am a little bit surprised by that. I thought most of my followers would say green, but I guess we're gonna do cream, which is okay because I love that cream color. Now, in the past, I have gone all out on the priming and then the painting and the top coating, but what I've kind of noticed is that if you do a good scuff sand, a lot of these higher quality paints that I'm using don't actually need the primer and the top coat. A lot of it is all built in. I did read like the directions, like how you use it and all that stuff on it, and it said that this paint can actually be used to prime some blemishes itself. So I'm gonna take that as an indicator that this piece doesn't need to be primed because of this paint. This paint really is an all-in-one paint. I've always primed and top coated before, so this will be my first time using it without doing that. I do have a piece of furniture in this color and it is held up so well that really I trust this paint, and I think it'll be fine without the primer, especially since we already did scuff sand it, which is one of the 2 methods to get paint to adhere to a surface. I'm gonna try this out with just the paint, and at the end of the video I'll let you guys know if I recommend that or not. I've used this Valspar paint on several different colors and it's always done a great job, so I'm really not worried about it. Also, I did get this paint from the Oops section at Lowe's. So this whole gallon was only $9, which is sweet. If you really do like this color, here is all the information that you will need for it so that you can order it yourself. Now let's go ahead, open this up and stir it because I'm so excited to get this color on. It's always my favorite day when you open up a brand new brush. I'm gonna do that because all my other brushes have like dark color stains on them, which is fine because they're clean. I'm just feeling a new brush today, so let's get to it. After 2 coats of paint, this dresser had full coverage. I do believe the primer and top coat wasn't necessary with this paint. It even held up to a scratch test. After paint, I got the hardware on, and now it's time for the final reveal.
Love and try to make it new. You can't fight it when it feels so true. You drive me crazy like no one else.